May 10, 1980. San Bernardino National Forest, California. George Wayne Smith woke with a start. A dusting of snow fell from his green military poncho as he slowly sat up on the steep hillside and looked out over the blackness of Coldwater Canyon. He remembered waking up earlier in darkness, seeing the crystals of ice and snow sparkling as they fell around him and thinking perhaps his soul was being lifted up to meet his Lord in the sky. But now, looking out over the canyon and contemplating his fate, George felt none of the comfort of a man destined for the kingdom of heaven. He felt like a man who had seriously screwed up. He leaned back and drifted into darkness. 13 miles up Lytle Creek Canyon at the San Bernardino Sheriff's Command Center set up at Glen Ranch, preparations were being made to make sure Saturday, May 10th, would be very different than the day before. Hundreds of heavily armed officers were arriving along with equipment available to support them. In the pre-dawn darkness with a cold rain falling, SWAT personnel from the LA County Sheriff's Office, or LASSO, began arriving in buses. The department had a fancy name for the specially trained two-man units, but most cops called them by their specialty, the hunt and kill teams. Trackers, report to your command posts. The temporary PA system blasted as the first slivers of light began to appear over Lytle Creek Canyon. LASSO and San Bernardino Police Department SWAT members made their way to a command vehicle, checked out M16 rifles, snapped in high-capacity magazines and donned bulletproof vests. Others stood scarfing down plates of scrambled eggs cooked up by county jail inmates in a nearby chow trailer. Bloodhounds and German shepherds strained at their leads and circled their Fontana Police Department handlers, sniffing the ground. Mounted police teams gathered around a line of horse trailers. Trackers from the San Bernardino Mountain Rescue Team kicked at the dirt and waited to be teamed up with heavily armed escorts. After giving his men a final briefing, San Bernardino Assistant Sheriff Floyd Tidwell looked up from the terrain map laid out on the table. "Now go get those guys and protect those trackers," he said. San Bernardino PD SWAT Sergeant Larry Richards, along with 3 of his men and 3 San Bernardino Sheriff's deputies, began their search at 8 a.m. at the site of the ambush on Baldy Notch Road. Richards' team would advance up the grade in the direction of a second tracker team equipped with cold weather gear working its way down from the 700-800-foot summit of Baldy Notch. At the washout itself, Richards' trackers picked up a trail of blood leading up the narrow fire road. After a few hundred yards, they came to the hairpin turn on the outside edge of the mountain leading to the backside of the ridge above Coldwater Canyon. Almost immediately, Richards heard a voice calling out from somewhere on the hillside. The men dropped low, spread out and took positions.